Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I was told is first off, it is a Blu ray update. Okay. This is a reading about the trajectory of the collective consciousness that all of us are part of. And when I asked what exactly is the information needing to be shared regarding that collective consciousness, what I heard is the shift has begun. So a shift has been initiated. We're going to find out exactly what that means, how that can be expected to affect all of us, or maybe some of us. We're going to see. We're definitely going to see. So, have you guys been having weird dreams? Just super curious while I get the cards ready. Have you been having weird AF dreams? Because I've been having weird AF dreams. Um, I don't think every night, but I realized this morning that I had the weirdest dream last night. And I don't know if I should share, but I'm a huge proponent of oversharing. And so I will tell you what I dreamt. I dreamt that I had a third nipple in my armpit, and I was like, no. Right here, I had a third nipple. I was like, ah, because I mean, I don't know. It just was weird. It was weird. It was so weird. I was just like so upset in my dream. And then there was this other aspect of me. I know it was me talking to myself. And I was like, you don't have to be all upset or bothered. I was trying to like get myself to be okay with the finding of the third nipple in the armpit. It was the weirdest thing ever. I mean, yes, I know some people are born with a third nipple, and it's no biggie. I think my upsetness had more to do with the fact that I am deathly allergic, like anaphylactic shock type of allergic to the entire cane family, lidocaine, novocaine, all of the canes, all of the nerve blocking type pain injections. And I'm also deathly allergic to epinephrine. So I was just like, ah! Like I'm gonna die if I have it removed. It was weird. It was so weird. It is what it is. If I ever wake up one day with a real third nipple, I'm just going to be like, hello, little buddy. We'll get one of the cakes for you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen that product. I think they call it cakes. It's like a silicone boob cover that you put in your, and it helps to it helps to block people's ability to view your nipples. So I was like, we'll just get a little cake for you. It's just one little one, and was just like, we'll love on you. I'll be like, that's your new home, little buddy. Oh Lord. Okay. This is a massive change. This is a massive shift. This is something that let me just try and make sense of all of this. Okay. This is a super serious reading. Okay, guys? There is something going on, something that has been initiated, and it has to do with masculine energy. Now, for those of you who don't know me well enough, let me just come out and say right from the start, I don't believe and I don't support in the concept that men are intrinsically toxic and the problem and the issue. And, I don't support the concept of, toxic masculinity, nor do I support toxic femininity. Um, I'm going to put you on the screen, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to put your comment on the screen so everyone can see how inappropriate you are. Let's go ahead. Mr. Johnson wants attention. Let's go ahead and look at this comment. Hey, baby girl. Good afternoon, baby girl. I love your sweet smile and your lips and your eyes are very, very sweet and very sexy, baby girl. I'm the type of woman that'll make your ass cry in a corner, Mr. Johnson. Be careful. You can, however, donate to my cause. I run a church, Soulwork Synergistics. Go ahead and put a donation up in there to atone for your sins. This is disgusting behavior, and you should be very ashamed of yourself. You should be extremely ashamed of yourself. Extremely ashamed of yourself. I know you guys didn't even have the chance to warn him to play dead. Exactly. Exactly. This is not a representation of all men. This is not masculine behavior. This is damaged little boy behavior that has turned like that fractured psychology of a little boy that has turned into this disgusting display of fetishizing women. This behavior is not okay and it will not be tolerated. This behavior is not okay and it will not be tolerated. You didn't think I would, you thought I would just be quiet and just ban you? No. Your behavior is on display for the whole world to see. You want to make a public comment on a public live stream? I'm live on multiple platforms just for your information. I'm live on 6 platforms right now. Mr. Johnson, I highly suggest you go ahead and seek out the psychological assistance that you need to recover this fractured portion of you that is going out of its way to fetishize other people. Your behavior is highly inappropriate. You might want to hop onto my YouTube channel because you'll see everyone's comments. They're not feeling you. They don't think it's cute. They don't think it's permissible behavior. You still think I'm a baby girl? Yeah. So you've taken enough of our time with your disgusting display of your personal toxicity. You are not a proper representative for other men. I want to clarify this. I want to clarify that. So, there is this thing of this masculine energy, the healed type of, hi, Elko. It's been forever. um, the healed type of masculine energy, the type that knows what its proper role is, which is to further the healing of the collective whole. Now, we've gone ahead and allowed ourselves to become so separated between masculine and feminine that we've lost track of who we are, how we are, what we are, right? We're all members of a collective consciousness. And it's this thing of needing to come back together to square one and um, seeing just how important it is for all of us to take our rightful place, not just the masculine, but the strong feminines as well. Okay. The masculine and the feminine. Um, Daddy, 1 second. Daddy! One second, and I'm not talking to you, Johnson. Un momento, por favor. Let me call my husband. Let me call my husband.
Hello?
Daddy,
Yeah.
there is this man, Kevin Royce Johnson, being extremely inappropriate with your wife on Facebook. Before you ban him, could you kindly give him the donation link for Soulwork Synergistics so he can properly atone for his sins by making a massive donation to our church?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, baby. Love you. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. I'm expecting a donation from you today, Johnson. I'm expecting a donation from you today. You can apologize monetarily. I don't expect a donation to me directly. As the representative, as the lead senior pastor of a church, you can go ahead and apologize to my entire organization. My husband's going to be commenting the link for the donation to my church. I expect a large sum from you because you know what? I don't give a fuck. No, don't go yet. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Not bye bye. Not bye bye. You're going to need to wait until he gives you the link to make a donation to my church. Stupid behavior gets stupid consequences. I'm not going to tolerate none of that bullshit. Show me how sorry you are by making a large donation to my church. How about that shit? How about that shit? How about that? Don't go yet. Show us how manly you are by making a man sized donation. Do that. And I'm not asking you to, I'm telling you to. Do that. As I said, this masculine energy is needing to come forward, right? As it needs to come forward, there's a lot of blockages that are being allowed. These are interferences. Okay. Whatever the interference is, address it to the degree that it needs to be addressed and then carry forward. Just like you're witnessing me doing, address it to the degree that it needs to be addressed and then move forward. Never, ever, ever allow yourself to be distracted to the degree that you're not letting yourself do what needs to be done. Excuse me. Mhm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Sorry, guys. So, as we are acknowledging that there is attempts to block the coming forward of the healthy men, they're not allowed to come home. They're being blocked from coming home, stepping up to the plate, right? That healthy masculine energy is a necessary energy. It is necessary. Without a healthy masculine to be the counterpart for a healthy feminine energy, I'm speaking strictly of energies. What ends up happening is there is a distortion that's created. We forget what our proper place in our lives and in the life of others, right? Um, so intensification in reverse. This attempt to distort, distract, derail, delay, um, it's not going to be tolerated. It's just it's not going to be tolerated. What is going to be tolerated? Nothing outside of what is mutually respectful, mutually beneficial. This involves your 2 energies, right? For most people, they're still existing in a space of dualistic nature. They're still in a space of duality. And the way society has been running for quite a few generations, there's been this banishment. I'm sorry, guys. There. Is my volume better? My sound? It's not getting distorted anymore, is it? For so many generations, the problem has been that we have allowed others to banish our ability to be totalities, right? You're not allowed to this, you're not allowed to that. For a lot of the women, the females, um, who feel like they're not in a safe space, you've had to allow more of your masculine energy forward because we exist in societies that make it not okay for women to stand up for themselves. For many people, you've absolutely been made to feel ashamed by the fact that you have had to be the one to stand up for yourself. I'm not talking about gender roles, like traditional gender roles where women have to stay home, men have to be the breadwinner, that there are certain chores that only women are supposed to do, chores only men are supposed to do. Like, no, I'm not talking about that at all. You do whatever you want to do. You create the breakdown of chores in whatever way you feel is appropriate for you and your household. I'm talking about the energies, the perceptions that live inside us. These perceptions, very distorted perceptions due to the imbalance between the masculine and feminine energy within us. We each carry both. We each carry both. And between those 2 energies, if there's a distortion, it's going to greatly affect your perception of yourself. It's going to greatly affect the way you are able to move through your life. You need to call that part home. Call it back to you. The part of you that allows you to love yourself to the degree where you can be soft, or you can be soft, or you can be a warrior type energy. Those are your different parts. Let them commingle with each other. Let all of your parts come together, become friends with each other, and take turns taking the um, primary seat in every single situation you could ever possibly have, right? So, here, this is a powerful comment. This right here. I'm tired. I don't mind being in my masculinity, but damn, right? Um, hey, Johnson, you're being called to the front. My husband has put the donation link and he's addressing you directly. All right. And now that my husband has entered the chat, I can be in my full femininity. I don't appreciate that type of behavior. It's highly inappropriate, and I'm not going to tolerate it. So, going back to what we're talking about, right? This. Oh, wrong one. It's exhausting. It feels false sometimes. It is very tiring. It's very, very tiring, right? Sometimes um, what happens is women, we've been so accustomed and so programmed to be the very ones to have to stand up for ourselves, speak for ourselves. And for those who can appreciate that, the masculines who can appreciate that, they see it as this is a strong woman. This is a strong woman. I love it. I'm drawn to it. But don't get that confused. Strong women have a tendency to be strong women because we've never been in a space where we have been allowed to feel so safe that we can further explore our femininity, explore the softness, the vulnerability. And the same applies for men too. There's been this massive push to emasculate men who are in touch with their softness, with their desire to provide in ways that are softer, you know? Men are not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to feel emotions. They're not allowed to express themselves. There is not one gender that has been more maltreated than the other. We are not each other's enemies. We just are not. And we're needing to come together at this point and create a space so profound for each other that we can begin healing all of these areas where we've hurt so deeply that it's become calloused. You guys, look at my callus, by the way. Have you ever seen a callus begin to bleed underneath a callus and then another callus develop a callus on top of the callus? Bitches, what is happening here? Oh, it hurt. It hurted. But see, that's the thing. I know what it's like to be a human being, removing the whole concept of duality, being the totality that I am, feeling pain, but still being able to work through it, knowing there is an objective, there is a goal, there is something that I'm trying to accomplish, and there is nothing that will stop me from accomplishing it. Right? Ooh, this right here. Mm. It often doesn't feel safe to feel soft. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Like, I feel that so deeply. I feel that so deeply, right? Like, so deeply. I want to say this is a space, this space that we create together here on my channel. This is a space where you can really truly allow yourself to feel the full motion and emotion of being a totality, a whole being. The spiritual circles were taught were created fractured, broken, missing pieces. No, no. Society, we are taught the same thing as well, that we need to have someone in our lives to make us whole. We need to live life by numbers. We need to have accomplished this and that by whatever age. We need to have popped out X amount of children, own a home with how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms and how many cars, with a garage, with a picket fence, with all of these different things. Like, no, no, absolutely not. No, no. Mm, mm. Ooh. No. Your life, your existence, exactly as it is, has its own unique timeline. You are exactly where you need to be with the exact details, unique circumstance that you are currently living through for you. Your existence is valid regardless of other people's opinions on what you should have already accomplished by now. How many of you feel like life is so hard? How many of you feel as though life is so hard and it's just this thing of like, when is it going to get easier? Why does it have to be like this? How many? How many? Who of us can admit to ourselves that we feel this way? Because it's not a sign of weakness. It's just not. It's evidence of the truth and your capacity to tell yourself the truth, right? So we have a couple people who are experiencing elevations in courage, enough courage to be able to publicly acknowledge that they feel this way, right? It's hard, but I always think someone has it worse. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's hard, but I always think someone else has it worse, right? Gaslighting yourself into diminishing your own experience. Like, wow. Wow. Do we even realize that we're doing this? Do we realize how much we disregard our own feelings because other people have it worse? What will other people say? What will other people think? Other people, other people, other people, other people. The shift has begun. The shift has begun, right? This need for you to acknowledge exactly who you are, how you are, where you are, right? I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. A couple months ago, I was like, give me enough time and I'll clear the rack, right? I was doing rows on the floor. I want to show you something. Remember how I said that? Give me enough time and I'll accomplish what I set out to accomplish, right? That's the entire rack. The entire rack. That's more than I weigh. Why was I able to do that? That's literally more than I weigh by quite a bit. Why was I able to do that? That shit was hard. I'm not even gonna lie. That was hard. It was hard. It was hard. But why was it not impossible? Because other people's opinions don't mean shit to me. Whatever I set my mind to, I will do it as a totality. I didn't do that while thinking of my masculine aspects at all. Did I look masculine doing that? Not at all. How was I able to do that? Well, because I'm aware that I've invested enough of my time and effort into cultivating what needs to be cultivated in order to do what needs to be done, what I've set my mind to do. That wasn't a masculine or a feminine thing. That was just a thing that I set my mind to, put the effort into, and did. Like, you have to stop this whole thing that we do where we just consistently believe in what other people tell us should be our limitations. We have to stop. We have to allow the parts of us that have the ability to get the job done, to complete the task at hand. We have to allow that forward. We have to give that part of us the primary seat so that it could lead us through whatever circumstance that we're going through. The shift has begun. I'm seeing quite enough muscle development. You can't really see it in that video. I'm seeing enough muscle development that now I feel comfortable with shifting my focus less into bulking as much as I can and shifting it into slowly, very slowly leaning out, right? Entering into that balanced space, knowing the objectives, knowing that I have more capacity stored inside me. And if I'm going to recognize and reacquaint myself with those other parts of me, I'm going to need to leave behind even more of my limited perceptions. Even more. Not because someone is telling me. Excuse me. But because I'm choosing to recognize, not believe, but recognize I'm ready for the next part. Are you willing to recognize that you're ready for the next part? Because there's a next part and a next part and a next part. For some, until you get to a space where you're no longer pushing away the parts of you or the people around you that are going to help you empower yourself and liberate yourself from whatever limited roles other people have convinced you you are limited to playing. You're going to be stuck in these cycles. It's going to perpetuate. It's going to continue. It's going to stagnate. It's continuing to drag on. It's continuing to make you feel depleted. It's continuing. Again, this is not a debate or discussion of men versus women. It's just not. We were created differently for a reason. I have no interest in being a man. I don't want to compete with men. They're not my competition. So my husband is like super stronger than me, right? Whatever. Whatever. Um, he works out quite a bit. We work out together and he can lift way more than me. Whatever. And so I could tell that he was surprised that I could do an entire set of 200. He was the one filming that video. I'm sure he was surprised because you know what he did after I finished? He's like, there's no way. whatever the hell he said. And he goes, I'm going to do it too. And so he did. And he was shocked because it was super easy for him. I'm not shocked. I'm not in denial. Motherfucker, you can carry more than me. See, look, He's laughing. Mm-hmm. He's like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Uh-huh. Shut up, fool. It wasn't bad. It was actually easy. And you know what I said? Don't fucking diminish what I just did. I don't give a shit if it's easy for you. I don't give a shit if it's easy for you. I did what I did. I did what I did. See, he's laughing. Excuse me, Mr. Beastly. Okay, I'm like a fraction of your weight. Okay, I'm a fraction of your weight. It being easy for him does not diminish the fact that it was something that took me a while to do for myself. Right? And it wasn't me going 10-pound increments. It wasn't. I was doing rows at like 140. And then I was like, you know what? Honey, can you record me? I'm going to take the stack. Mm-hmm. 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 This man is on the other side of my laptop. Mm-hmm. But see, here's the thing. I'll give him his credit. It was very easy for him. What? He's strong. He's strong. Here's the thing though. He's never tried it. The only reason he had the courage to try it was because he saw me try it, and I know he knows he's stronger than me. I know he knows. I know he knows. Whatever. And that's the thing. Sometimes it will take a feminine to encourage a masculine to be able to step further into their strength and their recognition of that. It's not always the man that has to lead us into spaces of recognition of how strong we physically are. It's not always. We each can encourage each other. We each can serve as the inspiration for someone else who is nothing like us to reach deeper within themselves and pull up so much more courage. Like, wow. Wow. Like, oh my gosh. Serious? Mm-hmm. Did you guys know that I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, I have been entering more and more into a more feminine type of existence. There's been a softening in me, my communications, and all of that. I don't know if it's something that's been noticeable for anyone outside of myself, but I've been noticing this within myself. Much more courage in existing within spaces of vulnerability, much more feminization of my approach to several different aspects of myself that I've struggled to share with others. You know who inspired me to do that? To enter into that space, to find the courage to be much more feminine? My husband. My husband. Is it because he's feminine? No, not at all. I'm not masculine physically. I'm just not. But I was able to encourage my husband to dive deeper into his physical masculinity. Just like my husband, who is not feminine in any way, shape, or form, has encouraged me to dive deeper into that pool of courage that has given me the ability, the willingness to experience more of my femininity, right? This is what we're supposed to do for each other. This is what we're supposed to do for each other, right? There's a little bit of that healthy competition between my husband and I. He's not actually trying to beat me, and I'm not trying to beat him. It's more of this thing of, look what I can do. And then, hey, I think I can do that too. I'm gonna start doing some parkour shit. I'm gonna do parkour shit at the gym, calisthenics. I've already started, right? I'm gonna do some calisthenics stuff just so that I could be like, honey, look what I can do. And then he's gonna try and do it. And I want him to. That's just how it's gonna work. Everything that I want him to do, I'm gonna say, like, look what I can do. Find the ways in which you can most powerfully influence, inspire, empower someone else. Look for those parts of you. And if you can't find those parts of you, create those parts of you. Create a space of recognition within yourself where you can see just how stable you are. Even in my emotions, there is a stability there. Even when I'm feeling so much emotion, there is a stability inside me. And that's the place from which I draw a lot when the world is pulling me out of balance. So let me tell y'all, I don't think it was a mistake. I made the conscious decision to watch TikTok after TikTok of what is happening in certain parts of the world. The heaviness. Mm. Mm. I have a lot to say about that. But soul tells me that I'm not allowed to. I have a lot to say about that. By this spring, you have a few months to get yourself on board. By this spring, you are going to see tangible proof that a shift has already begun in your personal life and in the life of others. Okay? Oof. All of this right here. The wildling. The wildling. Allowing yourself to step into a space of just intense courage, courageous action. Really just taking whatever you can, whatever already exists inside you, and intentionally utilizing it, right? Utilizing that to bring forward all of that depth of existence. So, ancestors in reverse. The ancestors are at our roots. We think they're behind us. No. We think we're past it. No. It's quite possible that the ancestors are asking us to complete the cycles that they were incapable of completing. For one reason or another, those very toxic cycles have been allowed to continue, and our ancestors are begging us to not continue down the same path that they unfortunately thought was the only path forward. Sacred sexuality in reverse. There's a sacredness to who you are and how you are. That sexual energy that lives inside you, that sensuality. It's not just for fornication purposes. It's something that can create so much potentiality. We've diminished our sensuality to simply be something that will either promote a sexual experience or enhance it. So hold on. Okay. The enjoyment, expression, or pursuit of pleasure. The condition of being pleasing or fulfilling to the senses. Mm. According to this website, sensuality means relating to the body and the senses. This is different from the intellect or spirit. It also means bodily or sensory pleasure, which is not necessarily sexual, right? I'm wondering, sacred sexuality, your sensuality, have we lost all pleasure in simply existing? Have we existed in a state so devoid of sensual pleasure? Like your senses are being catered to. Sensuality could be the scent of a wildflower, intoxicating your senses, drinking in the beauty through simply using your eyes to view this wildflower. Sensuality could be the pleasure you feel with certain types of fabrics, the way it caresses your skin and reminds you of beautiful times in your life. It's so much more than what we allow it to be. And as we've become devoid of this sensual pleasure of merely existing, sensuality has nothing to do with strictly being sexual. It can be that, but it's not strictly that. So, what are we needing to do? Stop fighting our need to feel some type of pleasurable experience. Catering to our senses in a non sexual way. One of the ways that I could totally cater to my senses is witnessing peace widespread through the world, just seeing it. One of the most pleasurable sensual experiences was back in 2020. There was this video, it was during the lockdowns, right? There was this video, I think it was from, I want to say Italy. And it was a whole bunch of like apartment or condominium complexes. They're pretty high, had quite a few floors, and people's balconies were facing each other. And the residents, they were all on their balconies singing with each other. That was so pleasurable to witness. I mean, I could only imagine the sensuality of that if I witnessed it in person. I mean, just comparing how it affected me via video, I could only imagine what that would have been like in person, how healing to witness the coming together of complete strangers, vocally, emotionally. Like, ooh. right? It is within our nature to connect with others in this way. It is within our nature to connect with others in this way. Is it weird that I miss? Don't worry, Mindy. We're going to be in that again soon. Oh, was I not supposed to say that? I didn't know. Okay. So, all of this, all of these cards that I have pulled, we have both the masculine and the feminine. We've talked about the imbalance, the need to rebalance. We've talked about all sorts of different aspects of this, the loss of sensuality, the enjoyment of our senses, how the lack of pleasurable experience is adding to our resistance to come together and all of that, right? It's also blocking our ability to ascend beyond the limitations that others have been trying to force upon us, right? There is a shift occurring, and uh, there are going to be those of us who fight this shift. Those of us who will be so intimidated by the shift that is already occurring that we will try and convince others not to participate in the various types of changes that are necessary. What type of changes? Maybe we need to stop complying with these fucking sociopathic monsters. Okay. Michael tugged the cord like he tugged it. He's like, "Hey, okay, I'll stop." I'm just saying. Sometimes the most tremendous, most powerful forms of rebellion is simply not complying, not being combative or confrontational, just no longer complying, just not doing, not agreeing, allowing others to think what they think, not trying to convince anyone else, right? But just accepting that you believe what you believe. You are choosing to live the way you live. You don't need anyone else's permission. You know you are not being intentionally hurtful or harmful to others, and choosing your peace, choosing a way of existence that is most aligned with your highest needs and greatest good, right? Versatility. You need to allow yourself to become much more versatile. Allow yourself to explore these different aspects of you. Allow the part of you that's willing to step forward and guide you through this period out of the void. Stop rejecting the most powerful and most appropriate parts of your character. Stop rejecting that. So I want to clarify. I see what you wrote, Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts is in a IDGAF attitude right now. That's valid. But I want to clarify. I'm not encouraging you guys to not give a fuck. No. That's never the answer. I personally believe the most powerful solution that I could present to you is to give many, many, many fucks, the most fucks you've ever had in your life, but about the things that will carry us forward as a collective whole, right? As a collective whole. You know, Michael's telling me not to say it. He goes, "Why are you covering your nose?" Well, I'm hoping that if I hold my nose physically, you won't notice etherically I'm covering my ears. I don't want to hear him. um, Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing very clearly the reason I have been so just hyper fixated on encouraging members of our community to open their own businesses, to provide services and tangible goods and work for themselves. It's because we need to starve this system of our participation. We need to starve this system of our participation in the very things that have been being used to oppress us to a whole nother unnecessary degree. A whole nother unnecessary degree. And it's gotten to the point where I have felt so strongly the need to utilize my abilities to go ahead and provide you the clarity you need to know how to establish a viable as fuck business that is based in soul. I'm not talking about a business that's designed to save the world. Mm-mm. The world can take care of itself. It needs to take care of itself. We need to stop volunteering people or volunteering ourselves to be the next Messiah. You know what they do to Messiahs, right? They crucify them. Simply be you. Do what sets your heart on fire. Create things that make you feel so happy. Be exactly what you are meant to be in this world. We're not just selling random things to make money. We're not just making up random services to make money. We are providing what is needed, not just for survival, but to shift the environment that we exist in. When was the last time you occupied an employment position that made you feel irreplaceable? When was the last time that made you feel as though, man, you're leaving your mark on the world? You're affecting humanity in such a way, and you feel proud of what you're doing. You feel proud of what you are part of. When was the last time? Every time I sit with a client is a time that I feel that way. Every single time that I sit with a client, I feel that way. Every single time. Is my work going to save the world? No, but it will change the lives of the people. And when I reach enough people will have the courage to change their own lives, to inspire others to change theirs as well, to encourage others to be proud in the way they exist. And what am I primarily providing? Just my thoughts that I don't even fully value myself? Just my thoughts. It could be as simple as your thoughts. It could be that you have a different way to see the world, a different way to communicate the same exact freaking concepts that have been communicated for so many generations. But for some reason, the way it rolls off your vocal cords and exits out of your mouth, it creates a resonance in someone else. It causes a shift unexpectedly in someone else. That's irreplaceable. That's irreplaceable. I don't believe I'm irreplaceable, but I do believe that not many people like me exist, and we are kept very hidden. And although there are others like me, you will be very hard pressed to find them. And that has to count for something in my journey of embracing my worth. It's just one of those things. I don't get it. I don't get why you guys join me on live streams. I don't get why my words carry the weight that they do. I don't get it. I don't know that I'm supposed to get it. Um, it is what it is. And I will continue to do what I do. It is what it is. And I will do what I do, which is what? Show up when soul tells me to show up and talk about things that maybe I don't want to talk about, but is necessary to say. And as I find the courage to say it, I will be gifted with the opportunity to dive deeper into the spaces within me that are still fractured and wounded and bleeding. And I can then clear out more of that scar tissue so that I can be a little bit further in my own personal healing. And that is my gift. That is the gift you give me through your presence as I outwardly process this life, right? You don't have to have this grand project of how you're going to save the world. The world does not need to be saved. What the world needs is for more real people willing to experience spaces of vulnerability with others so that we can begin to shift the perspective that we all need to be badasses and hardcore and gangsters and no. Mm-mm. No. I'm so far from gangster. I am so far from badass. I've said it before. And people tell me, like, oh, you're badass. No, I'm wounded. I'm wounded. And sometimes you get too close to the wound, I lash out. Sometimes I get triggered and I lash out. I have no interest in being a bad bitch. That's such an unhealed version of a diminished partial potentiality, right? No, I don't want to be a bad bitch. That's just like, that's a part of me that's not interested in healing. That's a part of me that's interested in just traumatizing people back. I don't want to be a bad bitch. I'm not a bad bitch. I want to be a woman in the process of healing. I want to be softness personified. Something beautiful about that. It's just so beautiful. The most powerful form of softness. I want to be like water, where nothing can actually contain me. You put me in a container, I'll eventually evaporate, liberate myself. You put me in a cold environment, I will freeze and become solid. Have you ever tried to contend with a glacier? Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's formidable. Formidable for simply existing, floating along, doing its glacier thing. I mean, what do we need to do? We need to weave a different story. We need to cut the ties that we have to the entanglements that keep us in the space that is the void in our lives, right? This shift is a powerful shift. It is a very powerful shift. And as you become more aware of what this shift is, give yourself permission to get wild. People, I've been called a wild woman by so many different people. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just don't. I don't know other people's intentions when they communicate things to me. I got a touch of the tism, more than a touch. I got a massive touch of the tism, and I don't know what people mean by that. You know, I don't know that I need to know. I don't know that I need to know. I just know that there are aspects of me that are very wild, and it's beautiful in its raw nature. And then there are parts of me that are very domestic, and that is beautiful in the appropriate environment. There are parts of me that are highly predictable, highly dependable, and there are parts of me that are just so erratic. I've said it before, I am a daughter of chaos, and I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed. So if that categorically makes me a wild woman, well, then welcome to my wilderness. I hope you stay a while. There's plenty to explore here. And regardless of what you explore, nothing is intrinsically harmful to you. It is what it is. And I am who I am. And if it's something that's intolerable to others, sound like a you problem, right? Sound like a you problem. Emotions are running high. Emotions are running high as they should. Emotions are the fuel for your ascension mechanics. We're in a massive cycle of trauma induced accretion. Yup. We're in a massive cycle of trauma induced accretion, a time to give rather than to take. So what is it time to receive? Or is this a message of you needing to be aware of what you're allowing yourself to receive? Are you simply taking in the official story? Because a story is a story is a story. I don't want to hear the story. I want to know the factuality of the reality that we are living in. I don't want any more stories. I don't want any more narratives. I refuse to participate in a Hegelian dialectic, okay? I refuse. Woo, I want to talk about things. Michael is like, no. I will say this. There are things going on in the world that are offensive to my divinity and my existence. And those things are highly offensive. And should be addressed with haste. Take time to breathe out, but it's in reverse. Don't simply exhale. When I lift heavy, I use my exhale to lift the load. When I lift heavy, I use my exhale to lift the load. It synchronizes my entire body with a singular focus of lifting something that I normally would not be able to. I think our exhale needs to be used in that way. What is the exhale? A release of toxicity. What else is the exhale? Well, an exhale that is passed through specific types of positioning of the vocal cords, paired with specific positioning of the tongue and lips, is communication. Do me a favor. Try to speak while you are inhaling. Right. All of your communication is an exhalation, an intentional use of your exhale. It is time to do more than simply breathe out. It is time to utilize that very exhale as an opportunity to communicate what needs to be communicated. Our desire as a people to shift out of this bullshit. Your dreams need a practical plan. There is no need to be practical in our attempts to liberate ourselves from the very confines of societal narratives that not only imprison us, but imprison our brothers and sisters as well. Prosperity lies ahead. May everything happening now fail massively. And may that failure be the very impetus for everyone's eyes being open to the ways in which we are manipulated. We are the ones who foot the fucking bill. In places most of us will never, ever even visit. Mm. Mm. Hold your vision in reverse. The vision that you have, it's upside down. They gave you an upside down perception of what's really happening. And you need to throw that visual away. When you have the capacity to see things clearly, you don't need a picture book. You need to see the reality of what's happening, not a story. Not a story being weaved by malignant hands. Balance spirituality and practicality in reverse. There is no balance. We just keep swimming round and round in circles, talking about the same problems. No solutions are being implemented. None. Ooh. Michael's like, don't you dare speak on things. Your commitment is being tested. Your commitment is being tested. Okay. How committed are you to the shifts you're being presented as an individual? How committed are you to living out your life in the way you're designed to live your life? Or are you afraid? It's okay for you to admit if you're afraid. If you can admit that you're afraid, you can then begin to free yourself to find the courage to overcome that fear. Right? I gotta go. I gotta go. I do not have the capacity um, to not speak on things that I'm told I should not speak on. Mhm. So please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Mm. Michael says, before you go, acknowledge why you're leaving. I have a righteous wrath and rage. Brewing deeply inside me. A wrath and a rage that would not promote a coming together of all people. And so, if I cannot remain in control of my own emotions, then it is time for me to say goodbye for today. I hope that whoever needed to hear something powerful today to help you commit to the shifts in your journey, I hope you were able to receive whatever clarification you were seeking, and that you experience the remainder of the day with elevations in your ability to show yourself compassion and grace, and just try and stay as centered within yourself as possible. So give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live, and I will see you guys again very soon.